Imagine this. A young couple walks into the ultrasound room, excited to see their baby for the very first time. The room is silent. The doctor gently moves the ultrasound probe across the mother's abdomen, carefully watching the screen. Suddenly, the doctor smiles and says, "Congratulations, you're having twins." For a few seconds, the couple is speechless. One heartbeat was expected, but there are two. In that single moment, an ordinary pregnancy becomes one of the most extraordinary events in nature. But have you ever wondered, how can two babies grow inside the same womb at the same time? Is it simply luck? Is it something passed down through genetics? Or does the answer lie in one of the most fascinating biological processes inside the human body? And here's something even more amazing. Why do some twins look so identical that even their parents struggle to tell them apart, while other twins look completely different, almost like ordinary brothers and sisters? Can doctors predict who is more likely to have twins? Does IVF really increase the chances? And are there rare cases where twins don't even share the same biological father? Today, we're going to uncover the complete scientific story behind twin pregnancies. From the very first moment life begins, to the incredible biological events that can create two babies instead of one. You're watching Zenvy Health, where science, medicine, and the human body become easy to understand. Let's begin. Every human life starts with a microscopic event so small that it cannot be seen with the naked eye. Around the middle of a woman's menstrual cycle, one mature egg is usually released from one of the ovaries. This process is called ovulation. The egg then enters the fallopian tube, where it remains alive for about 12 to 24 hours. At the same time, millions of sperm begin an incredible journey through the female reproductive tract. Although millions start the race, only one sperm normally succeeds in reaching and fertilizing the egg. The moment this happens, a single cell called a zygote is formed. This tiny cell may be microscopic, but it already contains the complete genetic blueprint of a new human being. Eye color, hair color, blood group, height potential. Even thousands of biological instructions are already written inside this single cell. Over the next few hours, the zygote begins dividing. One cell becomes 2, 2 become 4, 4 become 8, then 16, then 32. Without increasing much in size, the embryo continues multiplying into hundreds and then thousands of cells while traveling toward the uterus. About a week later, it attaches itself to the wall of the uterus in a process called implantation. From this point onward, the placenta begins to develop, providing oxygen and nutrients that support the baby's growth throughout pregnancy. Under normal circumstances, this process results in the development of one baby. But nature doesn't always follow the usual path. Sometimes something extraordinary happens. A single fertilized egg suddenly divides into two completely separate embryos. Instead of one baby, two babies begin developing independently. Scientists still don't fully understand why this split happens. It occurs naturally, without anything the parents intentionally do. These babies are known as identical twins. But this is only one way twins can be formed. In another remarkable situation, the mother's ovaries release two eggs instead of one during the same menstrual cycle. Each egg is fertilized by a different sperm. Now, two completely separate embryos begin growing at the same time. These babies are known as fraternal twins. Although both pregnancies produce twins, the biology behind them is completely different. One begins with one fertilized egg that splits into two. The other begins with two different eggs fertilized by two different sperm. This single difference changes almost everything, from genetics and appearance to gender and even pregnancy risks. So, what exactly makes identical twins almost genetically identical? And why can fraternal twins sometimes look no more alike than ordinary siblings? The answers are far more fascinating than most people realize. So, now we know that twins can form in two completely different ways. But here's where things become even more fascinating. Although both are called twins, identical twins and fraternal twins are not biologically the same. Let's start with identical twins. Imagine a single sperm fertilizing a single egg. A zygote is formed, carrying one complete set of DNA. Normally, that zygote develops into one baby, but in rare cases, usually within the first few days after fertilization, the zygote suddenly splits into two completely separate embryos. Instead of one developing baby, there are now two. Since both embryos come from the same fertilized egg, they carry almost exactly the same genetic information. That is why identical twins often have the same eye color, hair color, facial structure, blood group, and many other physical characteristics. They are always the same biological sex, either both boys or both girls. However, there's something many people don't know. Even though their DNA is nearly identical, they are not perfect copies of each other. As they grow inside the womb and later in life, tiny environmental influences affect their development. Their fingerprints are different. Small differences in personality can appear. One may become slightly taller, while the other may have different health conditions. In other words, genes provide the blueprint, but life shapes the final result. Now let's talk about fraternal twins. This process is completely different. Instead of one egg splitting, the mother's ovaries release two separate eggs during the same menstrual cycle. Each egg is fertilized by a different sperm. As a result, two separate embryos begin developing at the same time. Because they come from different eggs and different sperm, they share about 50% of their DNA, just like ordinary brothers and sisters. This means fraternal twins may look very similar, or they may look completely different. One may have brown eyes, while the other has blue. One may have curly hair, while the other has straight hair. They can even be a boy and a girl, something that is impossible with identical twins. Scientists estimate that identical twins occur in roughly 3 to 4 out of every 1,000 births worldwide, and this rate is surprisingly similar across different countries and populations. Fraternal twins, however, are much more common, and their frequency varies depending on genetics, ethnicity, maternal age, and fertility treatments. But nature has created even stranger possibilities. In extremely rare cases, one twin can develop much larger than the other because they share the same placenta unevenly. This condition is called twin-to-twin transfusion syndrome, or TTTS. Here, one baby receives too much blood, while the other receives too little. Without proper medical care, this condition can become life-threatening. Another incredibly rare phenomenon is called mirror twins. In these twins, one baby's features appear as a mirror image of the other. For example, one may be left-handed, while the other is right-handed. A birthmark on one twin's right cheek may appear on the other twin's left cheek. Scientists believe this happens when the fertilized egg splits slightly later than usual. And then there are the rarest cases of all. Twins who begin life as two separate embryos, but later fuse together during development. This results in what are known as conjoined twins. These twins are physically connected and may share certain organs. It is one of the rarest biological events in human development and occurs only in a very small number of pregnancies worldwide. The science of twins reminds us that even the smallest events during the first few days after fertilization can completely change the course of human life. But an even bigger question remains. Why are some women more likely to have twins than others? Can age really increase the chances? Does family history matter? And does IVF significantly increase the likelihood of a twin pregnancy? So, what determines whether a pregnancy results in one baby or twins? The answer is more complex than most people imagine. Scientists have discovered that multiple factors can increase the chances of a twin pregnancy, although none of them can guarantee it. One of the biggest factors is genetics. If a woman has a family history of fraternal twins, especially on her mother's side, she may be more likely to release two eggs during ovulation. This trait, known as hyperovulation, can increase the chances of fraternal twins. Interestingly, genetics has much less influence on identical twins because the splitting of a fertilized egg appears to happen randomly. Even today, scientists do not fully understand why this happens. Interestingly, genetics has much less influence on identical twins because the splitting of a fertilized egg appears to happen randomly. Even today, scientists do not fully understand why this happens. Another important factor is age. As women approach their mid-30s, the body naturally produces higher levels of a hormone called follicle-stimulating hormone, or FSH. In some cases, this can cause the ovaries to release more than one egg during the same menstrual cycle, increasing the chance of fraternal twins. Modern fertility treatments also play a major role. During in vitro fertilization, commonly known as IVF, eggs are fertilized outside the body and then transferred into the uterus. In some situations, more than one embryo may be transferred to improve the chances of pregnancy. As a result, the likelihood of twins can increase. However, modern IVF practices increasingly aim to transfer a single healthy embryo whenever appropriate, reducing the risk of multiple pregnancies while maintaining excellent success rates. Now here's something many people wonder. Can you choose to have twins naturally? The simple answer is no. There is no scientifically proven food, exercise, supplement, or natural method that can reliably cause a twin pregnancy. Many claims on the internet suggest that certain diets or herbal products can increase the chances of twins, but there is no strong medical evidence supporting these claims. Twin pregnancies are fascinating, but they also require extra medical attention. Compared with a single pregnancy, mothers carrying twins have a higher chance of developing complications such as high blood pressure, gestational diabetes, premature labor, or babies with low birth weight. That is why regular prenatal checkups, proper nutrition, and close medical monitoring are especially important during a twin pregnancy. Now, for an incredible scientific fact. Many people believe identical twins are completely identical in every possible way. But that's not true. Although they begin life with almost the same DNA, their lives continue to shape them differently. Their fingerprints are unique. Their immune systems may respond differently to disease. Over time, environmental influences and natural biological changes can even cause differences in gene activity, a process scientists call epigenetics. This means that even genetically identical twins can become more different as they grow older. Nature creates the blueprint, but life writes the details. The story of twins is a powerful reminder of how extraordinary human development really is. Sometimes one fertilized egg becomes two lives. Sometimes two separate eggs begin two completely different journeys at the same moment. Both paths lead to one incredible outcome: the birth of twins. And every twin pregnancy tells its own unique biological story. If you enjoyed discovering the amazing science behind twin formation, don't forget to like this video, share it with someone who loves science, and subscribe to Zenvy Health for more evidence-based videos about the human body, pregnancy, medicine, and health. Thank you for watching. We'll see you in the next episode of Zenvy Health.